Information just into our newsroom. State wildlife officials will euthanize 13 bears that were rescued by a Townsend organization.
It is December 18th, 2024, and we have some very sad news to report to you today out of Townsend, Tennessee and the Appalachian Bear Rescue. For those of you who may be unaware, the ABR is a not-for-profit agency that rescues bear cubs who have lost their mothers due to death or injury or succumbed to their own illness or injury. According to their mission statement, the ABR cares for orphaned and injured black bear cubs for return to their natural wild habitat, increases public awareness about coexisting with black bears, and studies all aspects of returning cubs to the wild. These guys do great work at the Appalachian Bear Rescue, and since their conception in 1996, they have saved hundreds of bears. In other words, they know what they're doing when it comes to rehabilitating black bear cubs. And it's important to understand this because, as we're going to see later on in this video, they were not consulted on the decision that we're going to be talking about here in a little bit whatsoever. It's also important to note that the Appalachian Bear Rescue accepts no government funding. Instead, they rely upon the generosity of public donations. As you see attached to this video, there's a fundraising link to give directly to the Appalachian Bear Rescue. Please consider doing so if you're able. Donations will help ABR to give bear cubs a second chance and fight against the seemingly indiscriminate killing of bears that we'll be discussing in this video. So the other entity in this story is the TWRA. They are a state agency tasked with managing wildlife hunting and fishing in Tennessee. As you undoubtedly saw in the title of this video, the Tennessee Wildlife and Resources Agency came to the rescue and killed 8 cubs yesterday, and will be killing 5 more today. It's likely by the time this video is live, the other 5 bears will already be dead. Why did they kill these bear cubs, you may ask? Well, one of them had pneumonia and strep. Yes, that's right. They killed 13 bears in 2 different pens because one of them were sick.
News for you now. TWRA has taken 13 bear cubs from rescues and intends to euthanize them. Appalachian Bear Rescue criticizing TWRA, saying the rescue has not been involved in the decision-making process. The wildlife agents say they are going to hold a news conference tomorrow to explain why. They did say, yes, that is about to happen.
Appalachian Bear Rescue posted on social media today, one bear got sick with pneumonia and strep at the end of November. Veterinarians treated the other 4 cubs in that same enclosure with antibiotics just as a precaution. The rescue says the 8 bears in another enclosure never showed symptoms, but wildlife agents made the decision because they say the bears could pose a risk to bears in the wild.
Yeah, Ted, Casey, Greg Rico, the director of operations at the rescue, tells me TWRA picked up 8 bears today and another 5 will be picked up tomorrow. We don't know if those 8 picked up have been euthanized yet, but ABR tells me that they believe that they have. ABR posted the news to social media today, questioning TWRA's decision. The rescue indicates that healthy bears could be put down. ABR says a bear was sick with ammonia in one of the enclosures. That bear, along with others, were given treatment and fully recovered. No bear was sick at the time of this decision, according to the rescue. They also tell us last year, bears were sick with ammonia, the same kind, and recovered and then were released under TWRA's direction. The rescue tells me they don't understand what changed this time around.
Before we go any further, let's review the press release that was sent out by the ABR. It says here that the TWRA made the decision to euthanize the 5 bear cubs in enclosure 4 and 8 cubs in enclosure 3. It is our understanding that they believe that these bears could pose a risk to the wild bear population in East Tennessee and the surrounding areas. It also states that the ABR was not included in discussions and objects to this decision. It goes back to say on November 20th of 2024, the ABR staff noticed that a cub in enclosure 4 was breathing abnormally. The bear was immediately taken to the University of Tennessee College of Veterinary Medicine for a medical examination. The cub was diagnosed with pneumonia and was prescribed antibiotic and humidifier treatments. Doctors at the clinic prescribed the same treatment for the 4 bears that shared the same enclosure with the bear that was sick. the ABR began administering these treatments to all the bears in Enclosure 4 on November 21st. On November 27th, the ABR received test results confirming strep in the tested bear. The doctors assumed that the other 4 cubs in Enclosure 4 should be treated, though some lacked symptoms. All 5 bears in Enclosure 4 received 2 weeks of antibiotic treatment, and they had been symptom-free for weeks. So let's stop there. One of the bears were sick. A couple maybe had symptoms, but all of them have been healthy for weeks before this decision was made. By comparison, when one of our children are sick and we take them to the doctor, they write them to go back to school 24 hours after they start taking an antibiotic. It goes on to say the rescue continues to monitor all bears at the facility for any signs of illness. Bears in the other 3 enclosures at ABR showed no clinical symptoms of infection whatsoever. The release also says that in early December, biologists and vets at the TWRA, National Park Service, and other wildlife veterinarians met to discuss the situation, but the ABR was not included in any of these discussions. You know, the people on the ground actually treating the bears. They didn't want their input. So let's back up. Last year, the same situation occurred with bear cubs at the rescue. The bears you see on the screen here were infected in the same way that the current bears are infected. The TWRA, the rescue, UT vets, and even the CDC met together to help the bears. So you may ask, what happened to these cubs? Where are they at now? Were they killed? Well, you'll be happy to hear that the rescue was allowed to continue to treat these bears, and as a result, they were nursed back to health, and the video you're seeing here is the release of those bears back into the wild. The current situation at the rescue is not without precedent. When due diligence is taken and the rescue is allowed to do what it has done for decades, bears are not needlessly sentenced to death. But that's not what happened yesterday, nor is it what may be happening as I speak these words now. Healthy bear cubs that have posed no threat to humans whatsoever, and bears that, if given treatment, almost certainly would have posed no threat to the bear population at large, were killed by the state of Tennessee and may be getting killed as I speak this very moment. So back to the press release. December 9th, 2024, TWRA officials included doctors from the UT vet clinic who had treated the bears in the calls. TWRA did not include the rescue in these calls either. TWRA decided that the bears in Enclosure 4 would be euthanized. On December 10th, 2024, TWRA decided to euthanize the 8 bear cubs in Enclosure 3 without conducting any testing whatsoever to see if they were positive for strep or anything else. These were bears that had not been in contact with the other bears, completely healthy bears. 8 of them that they decided to put down. It's pure insanity. And further, our sources at ABR tell us that when the UT vets were asked to assist in the process of rounding up the bears at the rescue, they declined for ethical reasons, and good for them. The release continues to say that ABR curators have been monitoring the cubs in Enclosure 3 using the ABR camera system and listening at the enclosure area daily for any signs of breathing difficulty or coughing. None of them had shown any symptoms. TWRA has not provided their written decision and plan. Their personnel began removing 13 bear cubs on December 18, 2024. To be clear, under Tennessee state law, the bear cubs belong to the state of Tennessee. Everybody needs to understand that the folks at the rescue were being very diplomatic with this release. I spoke with them today. They are devastated by the events unfolding with these cubs they've rescued. They're emotionally invested in these bears' well-being. They pour time, energy, and resources into their care. To address their right to do this under the law, no one owns these bears, certainly not the government of the state of Tennessee. Just like the issues we've covered on the channel regarding the national park, we the people give the allowance for the government to manage wildlife and public lands. And I may be wrong, but I do not believe the constituents of this state or country support healthy baby bear cubs being murdered under these circumstances or for these reasons. To go further, understand that this roundup has now set a banner year for TWRA bear euthanizations, at least in modern times. Try to find another single county in the nation that's killed over 40 bears in a single year. Well, that's what happened in Sevier County this year. Now try to find another city that's had wildlife management come into their town and kill 19 bears. That's what happened in Gatlinburg, Tennessee this year. Representatives from ABR told us on our call this morning, and I tend to agree, that we have a crisis on our hands here. Truly, the rescue is our best and last line of defense against what seems to be, at best, a lazy approach by wildlife management, or worse, what seems to be the indiscriminate killing of these beautiful baby bear cubs. Director of Operations at the Appalachian Bear Rescue, Greg Greco, told us this morning. These bears' lives may be just a drop in the bucket when compared to Tennessee's entire bear population, but getting people to care about these individual bears at ABR gets people to care about bears across the state. Through their story, these bears' lives can positively impact the lives of thousands of bears and thousands of acres of bear habitat across the state. And that's the shot of hope in which we need to focus. We have good people like Mr. Greco who care deeply for the bears he nurtures on the front lines of this fight. So again, if you're able, please consider making a donation to the Appalachian Bear Rescue using the fundraising link attached to this video. As this is a developing story, we will continue to monitor the situation and bring you more details as they arise. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.